S. Karnes podcast with the host Mitchell S. Karnes. And today's show is going to celebrate the Watergrave series, all based on the mastermind Mitchell S. Karnes' book, Watergrave, of the Abbey Rhodes series. And we're just going to talk about this journey, how it happened. There he goes as he puts up the book. Probably they won't see that, Mitchell, but that's okay.
Okay.
You'll do it when you talk. Um, the amazing part of all this is the excitement, the celebration that's happened. So, Mitchell, let's take today's podcast is going to be just dedicated to this journey, how it started and where we are now. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, it started, the filming side of this is my launch for Watergrave, and that was in February of 2025. That's kind of hard to believe. But at that scene, and one of the questions, I was doing a Q&A at the very end of the launch, and a lady asked me, she goes, well, when's the movie coming out? And I kind of laughed and said, in my dreams, you know. But as people were coming through the line, my publisher was there, and he just walked through and he says, we'll talk about that. And so later that week, we talked about it, and that's when it all started. A few months later, we signed the contract for that, giving him 18 months to start doing something with it, or the rights went back to me. And Mike Parker has really, really worked hard. He's gotten people surrounding him that complement his talents. And we've gotten Doug Collins, who is another producer on here. And Doug is one of those guys that just, he doesn't take no, and no dream is too big. Doug just said, we're going to do this. We're going to do all 6 books. We're going to go for this. And so they started getting people involved in it. And I think the next big step, when we got Abbey Rhodes, an upcoming actress, Kristen Sweeney, is going to be playing her, and she is phenomenal. She just needs the exposure. And then we got Phil Vassar involved. He's going to play the second detective, and that kind of took us up to another tier because that's a recognizable name. He has a whole following, and it's just been people following on. Julie Pekarsky, who came on and is going to play the medical examiner that ends up being a romantic interest of Sam. So, and then a supermodel and comedian, Eugenia Kuzmina. She's come on. Bonnie Keene's come on. Aaron Shaver. And it's just people after that. And we got a notice this morning for the Candace Kirkpatrick. You'll see here a lot of Hallmark and a lot of Christian films. She contacted Mike and said she wants to be a part of this. And so since most of the big parts were filled, she's going to be playing a minor part that's not going to be recognizable. And so that she can play a character later on, but she wants to be a part of this series. And we have investors, so we have enough for the pilot to go and to be filmed. And we have a major distributor who is interested in that, but they have to have a physical product to look at before they sign on. So if they do that, then there's the rest of the money, and then there's the distributing service on this. And so it has been a whirlwind. Monday, we sit around with all the cast and have the table reading for everyone who's in that pilot section of Watergrave, because Watergrave is going to be split up into 5 episodes. So there's a pilot and 4 proceeding. So what point do we stop in it? And Monday, we start the filming.
Okay. You've taken me through all this journey. Now, once the story starts and develops, there's been so many different major parts of this. Let's talk about Mike and his team. Once you signed the rights to them, what
Yes.
happened in that process, so that people can understand that once you do that, it's not a guarantee of anything at that point, at that 18-month mark.
It's not a guarantee, and it is not an instantaneous process. That's where I was ignorant of the whole process. I thought once you signed it, boom, there it goes, and next year it's coming out. No, there's a lot of legwork. There's a lot of legal hoops to follow through. Since we are including SAG and non-SAG, SAG is Screen Actors Guild actors. You have to jump through the other 500 hoops that they have for you to be able to cast those actors and actresses. So that delayed us. We were going to launch January of this year. It didn't happen. Then we were shooting for July. They gave us another 20 other things to fill out and to go through. And we had to have even the financial part of that had to be somewhere. So there's a company in Wyoming that's named Watergrave pictures, something that handles all the money that comes in through the Kickstarter, through the investors. And so it's so much behind the scenes that I had no idea was going to happen. So the first stage, Mike got all that going, and then he sent me a screenplay and wanted me to look at it and give my opinion of what should stay and what we could, trim out or what needs to go. And most authors don't get that chance. I hear stories from, Stephen King and Michael Crichton and all that who did not like the first versions of their books to film, and later on ended up producing them themselves. But Mike has kept me involved, even through all this, the reading process. I get to meet all the actors on Monday when we do the table read, and get to be there on any scene and get to be an advisor as they start filming this.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I think that what you look at in this process is just wow. So they went through all the process, they did all the things. How do they find investors? That's a great point.
Yeah, that is still the thing. We did the Kickstart. We had a few who came on, the producers themselves out of their own money. They knew some people, they got them involved. We had a luncheon. They got to talk to us, talk to some of the main actors. They got to read the script, and some of them read the book. In addition to that, to see where it was going to be going, talk to us about the series. I got to go to that luncheon, and I had all my banners. You've seen them behind me before, but for the four books, so they could see where the series is going. And one particular investor, who's kind of a large investor, had the spiritual side interest, and so wanted to know, make sure that this was legit and that this was going to be honoring Christ. And so before they invested, so there's a lot of different pieces going on.
Yeah. Yeah. So what we're gonna see is the next phase. Where are we
Yes.
going next? And it excites me in so many ways. So once you got that money or you got that
Still
funding,
getting, yeah.
you're going to get it.
We
Uh,
got enough for the pilot
the
as of right now.
Kickstarter was an amazing feat that you ended up doing.
Yeah, we were shooting for 15, which was 5% of the 300,000 minimum to do this, and we ended up getting a little over 20,000. So that was a nice big boost to that. And we've had several small investors beyond that. An investor was $10,000 or more at a time. So we've had several of those come in, and then we've had the two larger ones, but they are still kind of like toe in the water at this point. Want to see where it goes and what it looks like.
Okay. Where do you see this going? What are you hoping for?
Oh, I want to see the whole series. I want to see at least the six books. And they say if Watergrave goes well, which they're thinking it will, that we'll do two books a season from there on out. So it'll be a 10, 8 or 10 episode series, and then we'll do, 4 or 5 seasons. That would be nice. But like you said earlier on in our conversation, that results in book sales. That people get out there and they read the books and see what wasn't put into the films, and what's put in there that wasn't in the books. When I was writing these and trying to get published, I had a lot of things had to be cut out just because of the length we had. So now we have 5 episodes that we can put some of those things back in.
And then you're also excited about when they get to read the book after seeing the series. Some people have not.
Yes, and I would love for that to turn into book clubs. Met people at this last book signing in Franklin, and they just randomly came in the bookstore, and it was ladies looking for a book to do the book club, and it was a Christian group, and so that just worked out fantastically, and got a conversation with them, and so hoping to do that, and got another one booked in Clarksville. We don't have the date lined up, but they're trying to get all of the women on that one, and so it's turning out. It's funny that it's almost all women's groups for these book clubs.
Yeah. And what are you learning from that? But they're all excited about the series. We'll not talk about the book today, but they're all excited about the series, right?
Oh yeah, and that's been a real good help too, when I'm having conversations with people about the book, is that it's been picked up for a series. We're starting to film in August, And so I'm excited as I see the actors and actresses coming in and who they're going to play, and I can't wait to see them put that character to life.
All right. Go to mitchellscarnesauthor.com to purchase your book, get an autographed signed copy of your book. Sign up for the newsletter as well, that we have a monthly newsletter people can check out as well. And
Yes.
really appreciate it, Mitchell. Thanks again.
And if you have any questions, then sign up on that newsletter and we'll give you updates as soon as we have them.
All right. That was the special simulcast, the Neil Haley Show and the Mitchell S. Carnes podcast, guys. Take care.